Happy birthday, dear Drake. Happy birthday to you.
Before Dennis Graham would meet Sandy, and together they would have a little baby Drake.
And she was standing there at the bar when I asked the bartender where could I find cigarettes. So she said, "Here, have one of mine."
Before Dennis Graham would drop the single Kinda Crazy and actually surprise people with how good it sounded. Before Dennis would star in the music video for Worst Behavior and in the commercial for Drake's Whiskey Virginia Black. Before Dennis would star in the Arkells video for Drake's dad. Before Dennis would catch a stray bullet in Drake's beef with Pusha T, but Dennis would respond with shots of his own.
I don't know anything about anybody named Pusha T. And if I did, I would push the T.
Before Dennis would be placed on the cover of Drake's More Life project, and before Dennis would claim that Drake made up his role as an absentee father.
I said, "Drake, why are you saying all of this different stuff about me, man? Like, this is not cool." And he goes, "Dad, it sells records."
Now, you've likely seen photos of Drake's dad on Instagram. I mean, the mustache, it's hard to miss.
Yo, shout out to Drake's dad, Dennis Graham, the god, who has a push broom mustache that is immaculate.
It's top five, top
two, and it's not two. You know what I'm saying?
And if you haven't seen him, well, you've definitely heard about him through Drake's lyrics. Now, for his entire career, Drake, he's been rapping about the relationship between him and his pops. And while the two are close, not based on them lyrics, well, it seems they had a difficult relationship while Drake was growing up. But recently, Dennis, he made headlines when he told Nick Cannon in an interview on Power 106 that some of Drake's lyrics are embellishments to sell records. Now, Drake, he was quick to reply via Instagram where he stated, "Woke up today so hurt, man. My father will say anything to anyone that's willing to listen to him. It's sad when family gets like this, but what can we really do? That's the people we are stuck with. Every bar I ever spit was the truth, and the truth is hard for some people to accept." Well, this whole reveal, it got us thinking, we don't know a whole lot about Dennis Graham. And well, seeing as we're, the people that figure that stuff out, we decided to get to work. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCrudden back at you with another video. Today we're going to walk you through the life and career of Drake's dad, Dennis Graham, prior to his son's fame. Well, here for you and before they're famous. But I gotta admit, he is famous in his own right. Actually, before Drake, he was a somebody.
I was signing autographs, taking pictures with people before he was even born. So it's something I've done all my life.
Now, we recently did an epic bio on Drake for this channel where we got into his entire history from birth to now. So be sure to check that out after you're finished with this one. But before we start, I got a question for you. What CD did Drake want to listen to in his car ride to Memphis with his dad way back in the day? Place your guesses in the comments down below. All right, now let's get into this video. Boom! Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom! Dennis Graham was born on September 20th in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, we're not entirely sure which year because he doesn't like to talk about his age. But Dennis, I don't think you look a day over 55. Now, Dennis, he grew up with 8 siblings. He was the third born in the family, and he actually lost a little brother due to infant complications. Now, the family was raised by a single mother who was a nurse, and she also made sure her kids stayed out of trouble. But Dennis, he learned how to grow up quickly because he was forced to take care of the youngest children. At 10 years old, Dennis, he began to play the guitar, but as he got a little older, well, every night after his mother went to sleep, well, Dennis would sneak out of his window and head down to the local clubs to see live performances from legends like B.B. King. Now, this grew his interest in music. Then in high school, Dennis, he played in a Temptations cover band. Now, Dennis, he began working as the piano man at a Holiday Inn when he was 18 years old. And it was there that he met his first wife, Regina. She was a cocktail waitress at the hotel. Classy. But since she was white and there was so much prejudice in Memphis, well, they decided to move to Vegas together. Now, Dennis, he played piano at a cocktail lounge there before moving to Houston with Regina, where he attended the University of Houston. Now, Dennis, he majored in broadcast journalism, but he never took a job in the field. It was at the University of Houston that he actually began playing the drums for real. Now, he told XXL that his drumming career, it started when he was a younger boy. Playing the tin round tubs that people used to take a bath in, I used it as a bass drum. I had a broken mop handle that was used up. I used that as a mallet. but that's how I got started. His cousin would play alongside him using a cardboard box, and the two would just jam. But his first real set came from James Brown. Yeah, the James Brown. So James Brown, he had a concert in Memphis at the Sheraton, and Dennis and his cousin, well, they were playing drums outside in their usual spot. And of course, well, he was using his tubs.
He said, "Come here for a second." So I went over to the balcony, and he called his drummer outside on the balcony. And I said, "Hey, listen to these kids."
And after hearing them play, well, James Brown, he told his drummer to give a young Dennis his drum set. So from there, well, he was working with some better equipment. But years later, Dennis, he would get his first big break when he became the drummer for Jerry Lee Lewis. Now, he started by doing a few gigs, and before long, well, he was touring with them. And while on tour in Toronto one summer night, at the Skyline Hotel, well, that's when he met Sandy. Where the hell is the Skyline Hotel? I think it's now a Marriott. It's the one with the Space Needle. I think that's it.
I was in Toronto playing drums with Jerry Lee Lewis, and Sandy was at our show, and I was looking for a pack of cigarettes, and she was standing there at the bar when I asked the bartender where could I find cigarettes. So she said, "Here, have one of mine." So, and that's how it started.
Who knew smoking would end up creating life rather than ending it? Now, the two talked on the phone for a long time before Dennis came back for another visit. And from there, well, the rest is history. They got married in Canada, and Dennis, he got sponsored by his father-in-law so that he could stay and work in Toronto. Now, a year later, as you know, well, they had a son named Aubrey, who was born on October 24th, 1986. Now, every Sunday, Dennis, he would perform in Toronto, and he would take Drake on stage and let him shake tambourines. Now, Dennis stated, "I knew he was going to be a star from the time he was a kid at 5 years old. I told him, you were going to be a star, and sure enough, they could remake A Star Is Born with Drake and his dad." But he didn't think his son was going to be a bigger star than him. Now, Drake allegedly, he made a bet with his dad that when he was around 7 years old, where he told his dad,
"I'm going to do more music than you ever did. I'm going to do more movies than you were ever in."
The two bet $5 on their career.
In 2009, I paid him.
Now, I'm sure Drake didn't need those $5 from his dad, but either way, well, Dennis made it back later on by betting on the Raptors.
How you feel about Toronto winning the championship?
I am the happiest guy in the world. I bet $100,000 on the game, and I won $300,000.
But all of the gigs Dennis was playing, they took a toll on his relationship with Sandy and Drake. Now, in a 2014 interview with the Memphis Flyer, well, they wrote this. "Yeah, that's a hard one," Graham says. "Before looking away, I would never do it again." He stares at the ground. "That ruined part of his mother and my relationship. Yeah, I'm coming home after 2 a.m. every night and..." He hesitates. "His distinctive swagger broken for the first time. It just doesn't work." Now, Drake, he would wait at home for his dad to hope that he would come in. But some nights, well, his dad just never showed up at all. Now, Sandy and Dennis, they divorced when Drake was just 5 years old, and his father relocated back to Memphis. Now, Aubrey, he would spend the occasional summer in Memphis with his dad, and Dennis would drive Drake from Toronto to Memphis. And on car rides, well, Aubrey got a taste of a lot of the classics like B.B. King, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, Johnny Cash, and more.
Drake and I used to take trips from Toronto to Memphis, and we would switch off on who's going to listen to what. I would listen to Johnny Taylor, Al Green, B.B. King, and Drake would listen to Jay-Z, Kanye, and whoever else he wanted to. But we split it half and half.
In an interview with GQ from 2012, well, he recalls one of those drives, and apparently the swap wasn't so much a 50-50 split. When my dad drove me to Memphis one time from Toronto, it was a 20-something hour drive. I brought my Doggy Style cassette. I asked him, "Dad, can I please play this? Mom won't let me play it in the house." And he was like, "Yeah, you can play it for 20 minutes. And then we listened to an hour of my music. He did say that listening to those melodies that his dad would play him really influenced his taste in music, and he was drawn to the older musicians in a way that helped him craft his sound. Although Drake raps in 0 to 100 that occasionally his dad wouldn't show up, well, he also told JQ in the same interview, "Me and my dad are friends. We're cool. I'll never be disappointed again because I don't expect anything anymore from him. I just let him exist. And that's how we get along. We laugh, we have drinks together, but I spent too many nights looking by the window, seeing if the car was gonna pull up, and the car never came. But when Drizzy turned 17, he could drive his own car and listen to whatever music he wanted. Now there's no denying that Dennis, he didn't have a huge impact on Drake's life.
I never hid anything from him. I never kept anything from him. I took him down through there and I showed him this side of life. I showed him that side of life.
Now Drake, he actually learned how to rap from his father's prison cellmate named Poverty. So it's clear that, intentional or not, well, Dennis's surroundings helped make Drake the person he is today. But I mean, even if they talked on the phone every day, it's hard to have a real relationship with someone, well, when you rarely see them. Now recently, Dennis, he called out Drake for embellishing some of his lyrics about their lack of a relationship, but while the headline may be new, the story isn't. In an interview he did with the Memphis Flyer, they wrote, Graham says some of his son's lyrics in interviews paint an inaccurate picture of the relationship, but his son's voice is big and gets heard. Graham's voice does not. Now maybe to Dennis, he was doing everything he could, but it seems like him living in a different place. Also, it had a big impact on Drake's life and how he felt about his father growing up. So whether some of the lyrics were embellished or not, well, I guess it depends on who's judging. But as for the rest of the story, well, I guess that's all we could dig up on the big old goat Dennis Graham, here for you on Before They Are Famous. Also, the answer was doggy style. If you guys didn't get that, that was the question. If you got that right, let me know. And I owe you a follow over on Instagram. I just hope he listened to Views by now, the dad. You know, because a lot was said.
I was like, oh, what's your favorite song? And he's like, Drake, man, I won't be honest with you, man. My service is not too good out here, man. That's like, I'm gonna get around to it, you know.
Alright guys, I'm wrapping up this video. I'm your boy Michael McCred. Be sure to let us know who's next in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in another video. Boom!